because the town hall is ghastly. It's just dreadful. It serves its purpose very well to serve the friendly meals.
Define town hall compared to not town offices.
The town hall is behind the village fire station down the street. And a lot goes on there. It's a busy, busy building, and it's worn out. It's hard to heat. It doesn't hold a big group. And it was decided and agreed to on a number of continuing annual warrants to put money into this fund to someday build a town hall worthy of the town of Alstead in our community. So the idea at that point, which was just after the flood 10 years ago, and Charlie Bass was our representative to Congress, and he and I talked about this, and I floated an idea to him that we should build here an evacuation center / town hall that could be used for any emergency. If a dirty bomb drops in Boston and there has to be an evacuation, we could house and feed 100 or 150 people in this big building, which would have handicap accessible bathrooms, it would have a commercial kitchen, it would have dining space, it would have cots and closets. And I thought this would be a great idea to be a pilot project using funds from the
Homeland Security
Fund for terrorism preparedness, and that these buildings could be and maybe should be built in communities all over the country to deal with the time when such a property would be of great value. After our flood, we had lots of response to the town hall, and they plugged in their computers, and they plugged in their communications, and they plugged in their this and that, and then the whole thing smoked. I mean, the building was not up to that. We made arrangements, and we got through all that. But that was the original idea, was to have down on Military, across the river from Military, to build this building on that 16-acre piece of property that would double with serving meals and friendly meals and be a nice town hall with $3 or $4 million of federal money. Charlie Bass isn't in office anymore. I don't have any connections to anybody at the federal level who I've floated this idea to. So this idea is old, and it was a lot of money, and it was money in the fund was meant to build slowly to create the match that a lot of these grant projects require. So we've got the piece of land, which is about $250,000, that we could call as a contribution. We would have this money building in the fund for the day that would come years from now when we could build this town hall / evacuation center. That idea is more distant now than it was 10 years ago. There's a new idea, which I'll take this opportunity to explain. There are plans drawn to add a gymnasium to this school building, which would be over there. And the original plan, and Bruce, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was to build a floor across the mid-level of this space that we are in now and have 2 classrooms on each floor. At some point it was decided that this building, built in 1930, whenever it was, is not structurally sufficient to put a floor and have the 2 classrooms in here. Is that right? Yeah, I heard it. So anyway, the new idea is to, since we're using this building anyway, and we've got handicap bathrooms right around the hall, and there's a cafeteria downstairs, is to, when the building aide comes back from the state, the school building, and when that gymnasium gets built over there and the other classrooms and whatever renovations are thought to be needed at the time when it's all happens, that the town could officially or unofficially, we own this building anyway. The town owns this building. It's wrapped up in the school district in ways that I can't entirely explain. But anyway, to take this building and to take the money in the town hall capital reserve fund to tune up this space to be our new town hall. We've got parking, we've got restrooms, we've got handicapped access, there's an elevator, we've got a stage. And what the money this money can stay in the capital reserve fund instead of being taken out. It can rot there if we never add anything more to it. It could take out this squeaky wooden floor. Anyway, I was asked for background. Now you've got it. I would like to keep the money in the fund to tune up this space someday to be the town hall that we need.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Further questions? How much money is in the fund now?
About 65,000. Changes every day.
Bruce is about to answer you. Mary Lou, you'll be next.
As of December 31st, 170. Which one was, oh, I'm on the hall.
Town hall. Town hall.
Okay.
Thanks, Bruce.
New town. $66,965.69. Plus a few more cents since this was filed.
Mary Lou, you have a question? That's a good question.
I think it's a good idea. I think this town does need some place to be that besides back there. So if they, I don't know, if you said that it's not possible to keep it in there after a certain time. No. Joe, did you keep the fund in?
I can't hear you at all, ma'am.
Can you keep the money in the fund so that in the future, if there were a future to have some kind of capital law?
We can keep the money in the fund for as long as we choose to.
Okay.
Forever, if we like.
I'll remind everybody that I don't think we're amending this, right? There's no dollar amount to be amended. You'll have a chance to vote yes or no in March. So I don't think that we can amend this.
No, you cannot.
This can't be amended. You can just have a discussion right now to inform yourself. Us. Yes.
Very briefly, from Joe, I understand that the
Hard to hear.
Can't hear.
Very brief question from that. The select board unanimously approved this. I'd like to understand their rationale for eliminating this fund. Maybe Joel can answer that, I don't know.
Well, I don't have to live with any of the decisions I made this year, but you do. We decided that this was an old idea that had generated either disinterest or active opposition in recent years. And we put it on the ballot for you all to decide what to do.
Were you aware of the new proposed plan that Matt just?
I was.
Okay. And so you disagree with that plan?
I think it's no more or less feasible than the plan of building a new town hall anywhere else. What I would actually personally like to do is I would like to take the glorious replica of the 1950s town hall that sat on the site of that ugly fire station, the replica made by this woman right here, which is a glorious piece of model making available for your inspection in the town office at any time. And I would like to use the timber frame resources in our community like Benson Wood and the community building resources available in our community and recreate that building on Bragg Lane. That's what I would like to do. And this money would be helpful for that, but that dream of mine is pretty far into the future, although now that I don't have anything to do on Tuesdays, maybe I should get to work.
Bobby?
I think that the reason that this article ended up coming up because a lot of people that were in the weekly meetings talked about this, that first of all, it said new town hall capital fund. So it can only be used if it was new building. So if we were talking about taking an older building and doing something, that money would not be used. There'd have to be another capital fund. So first, you have to get rid of this, and in the following year, you can have a warrant article to say what
legal affairs, and they said, you know, if you want to renovate a building with this money, if you want to repair a building with this money, and if it comes to town hall, we're okay with the wording as it is. So what, again, it's one of those things that we always thought was true, about how you can't amend a petition warrant article. It turns out I've been wrong about that for 25 years.
Wednesday. Yeah, we found out about that Wednesday.
You also can change the whole idea of what that particular fund goes for. You can change any of your.
Yeah, it is. You still need to set up an account for the, next year with the proper wording
No.
to cover everything.
He's saying we just got it back if you don't have to. You can use it on the bill.
If it is the belief of the people in this room that we want to keep this fund for the purpose of providing some town hall space in the future, we're going to be okay according to the legal leaders. Unambiguous.
Yes,
A little history. A wise elder once said to me, gee, you guys didn't spend any money on that beautiful.
Can't hear you.
A wise older elder once said to me, as I commented about a beautiful building on a hill in an adjacent town, he said, yes, our forefathers were thinking ahead for us. Is it possible that this small amount of money, we spent a lot of money here today. This is $66,000 in a savings account. Just leave it alone. Some point in our future, we might not be here, but somebody could say, you know what? Our old folks left us a little money to do something like build on a dream. I see no reason to eviscerate it at this point. It's not a lot of money considering how much we spend on a bridge.
Sure.
Point of order, I guess. What are our options here? We can't get rid of it.
no, you can't get rid of it, and.
We can completely reword it? Is that what?
No, there's very little you can, I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
If we
We're
can't do
just-
anything.
We're discussing,
So there's no sense in even voting?
right, we don't have to vote if we don't change anything.
It'll be
But
on the
we can't change
ballot,
it.
right?
Right.
Yeah, be on the
Be
ballot.
on the ballot.
But this, however, that doesn't mean that this discussion is invalid, because you've educated, you've informed, we know more than we did, so we have that.
So we could hope, as a result of the discussion here, the selectmen might change their recommendation.
Well, I can't,
I mean, we can hope that.
you can hope that.
Yeah. And we could hope that the budget committee's opinion would be shown to the public somehow. I'm just trying to figure out whether there's anything we can do here.
No, what we would do would be to move this to have the clerk put it on the ballot as written. That's the next.
And if we don't move that, if we vote against that, what happens?
Well, you can't. You can't. This has to go either amended or the way it is, but we can't amend it, so we're really.
So if the people who wanted to keep it, what should they do? Right in the vote.
Vote no on March 8th.
But here, the best thing to do would be maybe not vote at all.
That,
If you bring it to a
voted
vote.
on yet.
we don't have to vote on it.
Oh, we don't have to vote on it, okay.
We're going to move the question. We're going to move the question.
But you said
All
we
those-
weren't going to vote.
Well, when you move the question, you have to vote on it. All those in favor of moving the question, which means ending discussion. Opposed? There being no changes to Article 16, I ask that the clerk put it on the ballot as written. Article 17, to modify the veterans credit. Do I have a motion on that?
Move to place this on the ballot as written.
Is there discussion on Article 17? Yes, Mary Lou?
I'm not sure. We looked at the tax, a tax credit. So they get a tax credit. All right, I understand.
additional questions? There being none, I ask that the clerk put Article 17 on the ballot as written. Article 18, to donate town land to Fall Mountain Friendly Meals. Do I have a motion? Thank you. Is there a second to the motion? Is there a discussion? Yes?
Sorry to take more time. This relates to the other one we were talking about, town hall, it seems to me, because food shelf, the existing town hall as a food shelf, if we built a meeting house or renovated this in short order. It doesn't, it strikes me that this is related to the whole issue of the town hall, because as far as the food shelf is concerned, they could just as well use the existing town hall building as a food shelf. And then we could have the land at Bragg Lane to use for, or this building, for a meeting hall. It seems like this is a little premature somehow. We haven't discussed what we're going to do. I mean, there's several balls in the air right now, and this article and Article 16 are tied together.
I'm going to help you.
Michael?
All right, so Mary Lou sends her best to everybody. She's getting some work done. Going to be back up and running in tip-top shape here before too terribly long. She asked if I would say a few words on her behalf, which I agreed to, because as anybody who's ever worked with Mary Lou knows, you don't say no to Mary Lou. So for over 35 years, Mary Lou and her volunteers have managed to keep the food shelf, Friendly Meals, Meals on Wheels, and the like running with no administrative costs. She's worked out of basements. She's worked out of Masonic halls. She's worked out of pretty much any space that anybody was kind enough to allow her to work out of. A couple of years ago, it was noted that it's time to find a permanent home. Her home in Langdon is going to be no longer available as of December 2016. I'd like to thank the good folks of Langdon that have helped the community for so incredibly long, as the people of Alstead have also been supportive, and Fall Mountain Region across the river and the like. But in 2016, she's no longer going to be allowed to be in Langdon unless she wants to pay $1,000 a month for rent, which, you know, could do. But by way of comparison, just kind of interesting, she recently bought 38,000 pounds of food for $900. So $1,000 can go a long way to the good work that she and that group do. So there was a couple of questions I know that different people had regarding the original warrant, so I'd like to offer up an amendment to it to clear up some of those questions. The amendment that I'd like to offer would read thusly. Shall the town of Alstead agree to allow the Fall Mountain Friendly Meal, Fall Mountain Emergency Food Shelf use of a portion of the property on Bragg Lane to build an approximately 50 by 100 structure and provide access and parking for approximately 28 vehicles, $0 to be raised by taxation. The reason for this was there was a lot of controversy around the word donate, long-term lease, something like that would most likely be acceptable. When I look at this warrant article, what I'm really looking at more than the wording and all the rest of that, because for what it may or may not be, there's not enough here to move forward, yes or no. The only thing what I'm really looking for is a yes or no referendum from the general public. Support. Long story short, do the voters of Alstead choose to support the continued efforts of the Fall Mountain Food Shelf, or do they not? That really is what the warrant article means to me and to the people at the food shelf. I appreciate your time.
I have a question.
Let me get the amendment. Ann?
Okay, my question is, hasn't a committee been formed to, an organization? Because when Mary Lou's gone, this needs an organization. Hasn't there been one? And their job is to see about getting grants and all of that. And what if they were offered other land and that was better suited?
The answer is yes, and better land would be wonderful. I don't exactly know what better land would look like, but yes, all that is occurring. The real problem we got right here, right now is by the time the voters vote on this, it's going to be March. So that's 3 months in. It means she's got 9 months where she is. So grants and all the rest of this stuff's going to be pursued. There are private donors right now ready to put money in a new structure. That's a fact. And after it gets voted on, we expect that we will be meeting with the select board as soon as possible to start the negotiation process of what this may or may not look like based on the composition at that time.
Are there additional questions? I'm going to start over here. Chris. And by the way, isn't it wonderful to see Chris Jensen?
Chris Anthony from Alstead, Pleasant Street. Since this is an article that's been submitted by petition, is it subject to be amended?
Yes, we have researched that, and it can be amended, and the part of the, it can be amended. Yes, it is legal to do that. Thank you, good question.
What's the difference?
The difference between this one and the other one, this one,
Could I speak for a minute?
yes.
My opinion of what the difference is that it's the difference between donating a piece of that property to an organization as opposed to allowing that organization to build their building on town land.
No, I mean the difference in amending.
That's the difference of the amendment.
No.
No,
can't we-
why could we amend this one, but there was nothing
Not
to
the one
amend on
to do
the
with the town hall.
town
We
hall?
weren't allowed to amend that, we were allowed to.
That's a specific
Oh,
amount.
that's because it's a specific account that has to do with the capital reserve fund, and so we can't amend that. Capital reserve is in a separate category.
Right.
So,
Anyway, well, I'll continue with my, the difference between donating a piece of land and allowing the use of the piece of land looks far out to a time when the needs of the Fall Mountain Food Shelf Friendly Meals organization might change and they don't want that building. If they own the land under the building, they could sell the building to whomever for whatever purpose. If the land, if it's their building on town land, that makes that less a possibility. There are many situations, by the way, in town where people